Yes, indeed. Good luck, have fun. Once again, this is going to be game 2. Easy as Pie won the first game, so the factions have switched, and it looks like the map that was chosen for this particular round was Vo Farmlands, which is, of course, as I have said many times, my favorite map in the game. Absolutely love it, so I'm hoping for a good game on this particular round. We will have double Soviets from Easy as Pie, so no U.S. forces, sadly. And over here on the right side, we will have mixed axis. And wow, Kuba Wagon first, so that hit the field plenty early. And that is going to, no surprise, be Kuba Jesus, sending that straight for what looks like the North Munitions point. SWS half-track moving up to the North Munitions point as well. And Mr. Osta's Pioneers grabbing the strategic point, probably circling around toward the top. So that should be good to see. We will have Stern Pioneers grabbing the munitions point, and the Kuba actually going straight up there for the fuel, trying to intercept those combat engineers. And we actually have a pretty heavy Soviet push for this area as well. Both of them sending their starting conscript squads straight up there, possibly going to pull off some kind of flank on this Kuba Wagon. With URA, they actually are much better at outmaneuvering a Kuba Wagon than, for example, riflemen. Kuba Wagon is playing it safe, being conservative. These conscripts are circling around towards the bottom. Ura going out. Looks like he's going to try and make a rush for the building before the Stern Pioneers can react. And I think that Kuba Jesus has no intention of fighting those particular conscripts, because he needs to move his Sterns up here to support the Kuba Wagon, keep it repaired, and also deal massive damage to the squads that it may suppress. Combat engineers moving across the flank, but they are going to be moving through red cover here. Kuba Wagon opting to reverse a little bit before bursting them down. Stern Pioneers easily push away those suppressed conscripts. And those combat engineers will be soon to follow, but those other conscripts from the house do just barely manage to chase that away, but unfortunately it's still not quite dead. It's so difficult to outmaneuver and kill a Kuba Wagon with just infantry because of its ability to just back up and get to safety so easily. This scout car is clearly hunting that Kuba Wagon down, but there's a screening squad of grenadiers. And it looks like he's going to be forced to back away, so that Kuba Wagon is going to get fully repaired by Mr. Osa's Pioneers. Meanwhile, in the south, not much action happening really. The combat engineers just taking territory pretty much unopposed, conscripts moving to assist. So I actually think the Allies have dedicated almost the perfect amount of forces to the north, sending just a couple squads down here to the south to capture territory. Doing a good job reading their opponent's strategy and figuring out exactly how many forces they need to dedicate to this area to counter what they're doing. I think that scout car may have just spotted that battle group headquarters. Yes, he did. He sees it setting up, but it looks like he's not going to take action on that information, unfortunately. Could definitely have at least given it a couple bursts. But I guess he was afraid of those grenadiers. He doesn't know if the Panzerschreck is cooking yet on these, which it's not. He's actually still quite a few munitions away from that happening. Sniper moving up, so that should help a little bit against these infantry. Oh, the scout car is going in on the Kuba Wagon here. It's a little bit wounded though. That first burst didn't really do anything. And that Kuba Wagon is definitely going to make it to safety. That scout car needs to pull back. And he realizes that that play just didn't really work out for him, and he does manage to outmaneuver those grenadiers, avoiding potential Panzerfaust. Grenadiers here being forced to retreat by sniper fire, and conscripts hold up in the building. Meanwhile, over here, the Stern Pioneers have just circled all the way around, taking all the territory up in the north. Scout car actually getting a little too close to those. I hope he doesn't lose this. Fortunately, the supporting conscripts and combat engineer fire were a little bit too much, and the Stern Pioneers were forced to retreat. He didn't feel comfortable trying to burst that scout car down at close range, despite it being quite close. Certainly, it's not an even trade move. Losing Stern Pioneers is not at all worth it just to kill a scout car. Kuba Jesus firing on the conscripts in the house. They're going to be forced out soon. Panzerschreck also helping, but these snipers are moving up to support, and if you could put them into good position to deter these Volksgrenadiers, I would probably put a more secure hold on the right side munitions point. Still, I think that they might be fighting a little too hard for this munitions when given its proximity to the battle group headquarters, when it might be more beneficial and certainly a lot easier to fight up here for the north fuel, but there is a machine gun defending, as well as various infantry being forced away. Grenade going in on those conscripts. Ooh, that's so much for that squad. And this Easy's Maxim's a little bit out of position here. I think he was not expecting his teammate to get wiped out of the building quite so soon, so he's going to have to reposition a little bit and get behind this cover. He's super clumped behind in this area, though. One grenade could wipe out 7 models or more. Kuwagen continues to try to find a good way to spend its time, but unfortunately it's only got 3 kills. Hasn't really done that much. Certainly was helpful in securing the north, but now it's kind of falling out of usefulness because it has to play games with this scout car, constantly evading it. And it will get pushed back. We also have the Maxim repositioning. Looks like it, not a grenade, but mortar fire. Forced that to reposition. 6 kills on this mortar already, so jumping up behind that wall definitely got punished. Snipers, unfortunately, haven't been used all that effectively yet. I'd like to see those, rather than just sort of sitting and defending the central victory point, I'd like to see him try to pick off some priority targets. Good to see him using the scout car to spot. But this, with these line of sight blockers here are making things a little bit difficult for him. Kuwagen is going to be laying suppressing fire on the combat engineers, but now that he's sniped the Rakettenwerfer, that clears open the way for his scout car to move through here and go and try and make another play on that Kuwagen. It is at half health. Unfortunately, his pathing just wasn't there. Slowly navigating his way around that bush. And he's, again, not going to be able to catch up. And a nice flank by those Stern Pioneers forces a retreat from the snipers anyway. Conscripts, however, in the building trying to do a little bit of damage to them as they pass by. Flamethrower squad is definitely not going to make it home. There's no way. Or will they? Nope. For a moment I thought it could be possible, but especially since he failed to put away his minesweeper, but it just didn't matter. Guard rifles hitting the field, moving up, doing what they can, so that's going to be a doctrine selection from Easy. Let's take a look. He is ISU doctrine, no surprise there, and Lethal Pie is counterattack tactics, so they have chosen the exact same doctrines that they've been choosing and that others have been choosing. This combination is just super popular. On this map in particular, I think it was moderately effective, but I think the Gag Tiger counters this pretty hard, and if we take a look at Kubel Jesus, yes indeed we'll see Gag Tiger doctrine, so every single game, same thing. Panzer Fusiliers into Gag Tiger to fight the ISUs. Meanwhile, no doctrine selection yet from the Oster player, and I think people like to joke that the Oster doesn't have that much strategic diversity. Grins out into Tigers or whatever. But I think the fact is, so far in this tournament, they actually have tons of strategic diversity compared to what we've seen. U.S. forces so far, as all they've done is lost. Every single U.S. forces game has resulted in either squad just went down there. Either a loss or I think we've had one victory. We've had one U.S. forces victory, but all other games that featured U.S. forces, that team lost. So that pretty much no strategy for U.S. forces seems to have worked so far, although airborne has been popular. And as Soviets, pretty much see ISU all the time, ISU and B4. And as Oberkommando West, you pretty much see Gag Tiger and Panzer Fusiliers every time. So Ost here actually seems to really have the most options because they have Spearhead, they have Mechanized Assault, a couple of things to pick from, and Panzer Grenadiers certainly seem to have been effective for some players. Other players shoot, sometimes they get a mortar, sometimes they get an MG34, so they can really sprinkle in lots of different units, try and make them effective. And I think that's fun to see. I think Oster is one of the more fun factions to watch so far in this tournament, but it's just my opinion, I guess. AT grenade going out, ooh, on that scout car. pretty nice, but those grenadiers are screening, and the shock troops aren't going to close in to try and finish it off. I think it might be able to get away. Rifle grenade goes off on the shock troops, but they almost managed to reposition fully. These guards are trying to finish it off with their PTRS rifles, but they're having trouble closing the gap. Shock troops are doing a good job screening for them, though, reducing the potential damage that they will take on approach. PTRS is about to fire. There it goes. One shot at max range, and the scout car is destroyed. Meanwhile, Maxim is being forced away here in the center. Snipers trying to pick off these Volksgrenadiers.
We have been deemed worthy of a promotion! Under fire!
Mortars going down, mines going down as well. So he's going to be forced to reposition as those grenadiers have spotted him planting those mines, and the Soviets are going to try and get a firm hold on the central victory point again here. Conscripts also grabbing the south victory point.
Grenadier squad at full strength! Rounds getting close!
Strategic point being taken by grenadiers. Just kind of small infantry engagements happening right now, while the bulk of these players' forces are either in defensive positions or reinforcing back at base. Pack hitting the field. Kugelwagen suppressing some conscripts over here, trying to go for a nice cutoff actually, but that's not going to last long. It looks like we finally do have a vehicle getting produced by the Oberkommando player, and it's a Jagdpanzer. Interesting. It's pretty common actually to see an Oberkommando player bridge the gap with some sort of armor, some kind of vehicle. Usually a Stuka or a Lux, but a Jagdpanzer is certainly also perfectly viable. It's very, very extremely effective in its role. Certainly not as good as the Jagd Tiger, but it should be good to see this unit used. It's just got quite a hefty price tag, and losing it can be devastating. It's pretty much the major complaint with it. It's certainly a very, very powerful deterrent to Allied armor. Volksgrenadiers taking up a position in this house. Probably going to lose to these snipers and guards, though. The Jagdpanzer's making its way straight up here towards the north. Looks like this squad of Panzer Fusiliers managed to damage this engine with a rifle grenade. The Jagdpanzer's not going to go in hard, but with that T-34 with a damaged engine, I think it would be quite easy actually for that Jagdpanzer to just drive right over there and finish it off. Unfortunately, looks like that's not going to happen. Shock troops throw down a smoke grenade to cover their retreat, but unfortunately it's too late. He's already suppressed by the Kugelwagen, and he's probably going to have to retreat now from this massive blob of Panzer Fusiliers. There he goes. Maxim needs to set up. Looks like, I mean, this is only going to be able to suppress one of these squads. This massive blob is going to have no problem walking all over him. Snipers are set up in the trench here to bleed list, but Panzer Fusiliers are really hard to finish sniping. Grenade goes off. Maxim needs to retreat. What is he doing? There he goes. It looks like a high explosive barrage could go off here on this stuff. Or not. Maybe he's just going to run away. Sniper taking damage even at max range. Needs to reposition.
The HQ has been upgraded.
And that's going to actually just be a full retreat from the Soviets. They couldn't find a way to make anything happen there. Meanwhile, a T-grenade actually goes off on the Jagdpanzer. There's an MG42 available to support, and it's going to be fine. There's really nothing in the area to follow up. Seems like a waste of munitions. Oh wow, we actually have some combat engineers going in for the battle group headquarters. Looked like a demo charge, but the Kugelwagen is still right here to defend. And unfortunately, that little flanking maneuver isn't going to pay off. Ooh, those conscripts stuck around a little too long. They do make it away just barely in time. These conscripts up here also getting suppressed by the MG42. Trying to ooh out of safety, but not in time. They will go down. Still, map control very good for the Soviets, having maintained control of the south for pretty much the entire game. Munitions certainly going back and forth quite a lot, but having also managed to harass the north very effectively. Demo charge went off here. I wonder if I got anything. I wish I could catch these demo charges, but I never seem to catch them. Damn. like the Soviets are mounting for another big push. Double shock troops and snipers, as well as some support from guards and a T-34. This could be a big one. I think it could be rather difficult for the Axis to keep this one at bay. They do have a pack in position to prevent a push by that T-34. T-34 is going to have to circle around the flank. Nice maneuver there. Pack will be forced to reposition as well with these shock troops charging. MG42 also packing up because it's kind of out of position a little bit. Grenade doesn't really do much though. Oh, that was a nice mortar on the advancing troops. T-34 moves up from the south. Pack is not gonna have an angle on it, I don't think, with that battle group headquarters in the way. But the Raketenwerfer and Panzerschrecks seem to be sufficient to push it away anyway. And the Kubelwagen actually suppresses the shock troops as they're trying to advance. MG42 suppresses all of this stuff. There are still snipers in the back picking off models, but they'll be able to reinforce out of the battle group headquarters here. And those shock troops are pinned and need to make a retreat, so are these. And the T-34 also needs to escape. Those Stern Pioneers are shooting that mine for some reason. They have a minesweeper, they could just sweep it. I think he might have. Oh, those conscripts just finished off the Kubelwagen while he was busy microwaving his infantry, I think. Oh, Panzer IV takes a nice opening shot, making a pretty serious entrance. Oh, flamer engineers go down. AT grenade bounces. Conscripts taking massive damage, forcing a full retreat from all of these infantry. The T-34, fortunately, is at a very safe distance. Quite unlikely to get caught by that Panzer IV. Meanwhile, Grenadiers over here doing battle with these flamer engineers. Rifle grenade going out. Dodged though, rather effectively. High explosive barrage goes out on the overcommando blob. Almost wipes one squad. And immediately retreats to get clear of the blast zone. That Grenadier squad also almost going down to just combat engineers. Wow. Still, the Axis are doing quite well for map control now. They have stopped the clock. They have taken the north side fuel, doing some harassment down here in the south. Won't presumably be able to do all too much to those conscripts. And it looks like this demo charge was not utilized to stop their advance. Probably too busy microwaving up battle. Wasn't able to react in time. So they will be able to harass the fuel down here. Conscripts just staying in the house, choosing not to move them up to do anything. Here's a fun trivia question. Does the stun grenade that the Stern Pioneers unlock at Tier 3, when thrown at the door to this building, does it instantly destroy that building the way a normal grenade does? I don't know. That would be a fun fact to know. I've almost never seen anybody actually use the Stern Pioneer stun grenade, but it does exist.
Secure! Take cover! Squad under
Oh, Panzer IV continuing to do good work here. Meanwhile, the Jagdpanzer actually hasn't participated all that much. Probably could have gone in on that T-34 a while ago when it was super wounded, but it's just using it to defend, and there's really nothing wrong with that, as long as it responds to threats and pushes it appropriately. Katyusha is also on the field from Lethal Pie, so he will, of course, be on Tier 4 into B4 duty this game, while his teammate produces T-34s and other medium armor as he transitions into ISUs. Looks like the Katyusha, was about to fire, but it canceled the barrage when they retreated. It's probably going to move up and try and take a shot on the battle group headquarters, trying to catch that blob all clumped. We'll see if it works. Getting into position. Here it comes. Oh, that was a pretty good barrage. 9 kills. 9 kills. That was a really nice opening barrage. So that Katyusha made a very grand entrance. Panzer IV navigating up here to try and push back these infantry that are harassing the Jagdpanzer, damaging its engine once again. The T-34 is also circling up, but I think that Jagd and Panzer IV will be way too much for one T-34 to handle. So he's going to need to be careful. Panzer IV actually circles around to fire on the T-34 and lands a shot on the rear armor. T-34 misses its shot, then Panzer IV misses its shot. The Jagdpanzer can't get to the engagement because of its damaged engine. Oh, and Mark vehicle actually goes off on the Panzer IV, and it keeps missing, so now the T-34 actually has the advantage here, but he's not going to chase, I don't know, maybe he will. Lots of back and forth dancing between these two tanks. Really, it can be highly random which one succeeds. Of course, with that Jagdpanzer right there. Yeah, it's not going to be able to do much. It needs to pull back. We'll get clear of the Panzer without a shot, fortunately. Meanwhile, some counter-harassment down here. The conscripts are retaking the fuel. And if we take a look at Google Jesus, we will see that his Stern Pioneers are... Wait, where's the unit? Where are his units? Why can't I see that thing? Huh. That's weird. I've never seen this bug before. Alright. In that case, I don't know where his Stern Pioneers are. They are dead. Oh no, there they are. Alright, so they've continued moving through this area. It looks like now they're in trouble though. I'm not sure they're going to make it away. Oh my goodness, a Katyusha barrage just obliterated that blob. That Katyusha is performing really well today. He is picking his targets perfectly. Look at that. So that really hurts. Cool Jesus, his infantry are severely wounded by that that barrage, bringing him actually down to the lowest pop cap out of everybody here. So he's going to have to re-bolster his forces a little bit. Fortunately, he is kind of floating a little bit of manpower. He could bring in some more infantry if he wanted. And that large explosion noise was the ISU-152 making his entrance onto the field, so... Not entirely sure the Axis are going to be ready for that. They do have a Jagdpanzer, which can hurt it pretty well, but it's important to position it well, and it really needs to get its engine repaired. It's been sitting up here with a damaged engine, pretty much AFK, for a long time. Oh, Control G, thank you. I didn't even realize that that was a hotkey that you could do. Okay, I learned something today. Cool. Thank you. Panzer IV goes down, unfortunately. ISU-15, or not the Panzer IV, the Jagdpanzer went down to ISU-152 fire, I guess. Ouch. T-34 also continuing to advance a little bit up here. ISU just continuing to fire on all these infantry. Oh, infantry support gun does nice damage to those guards. Oh, Katyusha firing on the blob again. They're so clumped. Oh, just inflicting massive casualties. Look at all these corpses. How many kills does that have now? After just 3 barrages, it has 25 kills. Oh my god, it's just destroying them. Just destroying these infantry. The Axis can't afford to keep blobbing together like that so hard. If they, like... one more of those barrages and it could just crush their economy into nothing. If we take a look at Google Jesus though, we will see he has almost got the resources required to call in his Jagd Tiger, which will be a pretty effective counter to those ISU-152s, but he really needs to get it as soon as possible. He can't afford to keep bleeding manpower reinforcing these infantry squads. He's lost so many infantry squads, in fact, to the Katyusha, it's really hurting him quite badly. Meanwhile, more Panzer IVs being produced up here in the north. We take a look at Mr. Osa. We still have no doctrine selection. That's crazy. I wonder why not. He's certainly, if he has 13 command points, he could be calling in Tigers and stuff right now, although, if we take a look, he doesn't really have the resources for any heavy armor. Nice use of AT grenades on these Panzer IVs that are trying to charge. Field gun is also available to support. He went in a little too hard on that ISU, and it just destroys him. Oh no, and that field gun is perfectly positioned to just finish him off. Nice penetrating shot from the Panzer IV on the ISU's frontal armor, but it was not enough. And both of Mr. Ost's Panzer IVs have just been destroyed by that ISU. And I think that he should have just used those Panzer IVs to take some territory unopposed here in the south instead of hurling himself at the enemy's ISU without proper support from a Jagdtiger. I think that was really a big mistake. I don't know. I don't think that the Axis are going to be able to come back from an engagement like that.
Enemy forces are securing
Although
our
those conscripts just died to pioneers. Still, I don't think that's going to be enough to stage a massive comeback. Katusha also firing on the infantry, retreating to the battle group headquarters. GG, well played, being exchanged. The points have run out, and that's going to conclude this matchup in the elimination bracket. It means that 7 Sins have been eliminated from the Star-Crossed Cup, and Easy as Pie have redeemed themselves. They will get to advance into round 2. So congratulations to Easy as Pie, holding on tightly, grasping at victory. And that's going to finish up this particular round. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'm gonna get in touch with some people, see if any of the other rounds have been played. Hopefully we'll be able to get started on another matchup. So stick around for just a few minutes.